Hey guys, welcome to the video. I thought I'd do a video kind of replying to Jonny Watson Gaming, who did a video about things he didn't like in the hobby, and he did about like conversions and stuff, which I must admit I'm not a fan of doing conversions. I just don't really do them, to be honest, nor do I feel the need to. But yeah, it's a fair point, like conversions aren't easy, they're not nice. I think what I would say what I dislike about the hobby is that's going to be a weird one. So mine would be terrain, and I'll explain why terrain. I really like having a nice cinematic sort of table, so I like having the proper terrain on there, nice looking terrain, because I think it really sets the scene with tabletop wargaming. I know some people can go out there and play with toilet roll tubes and Coke cans, but as like terrain, I've seen it, and fair enough. If you're about like they seem to be about rolling dice, where I'm more about creating a story, I guess. So yeah, I just feel like I want to have good terrain, and then that kind of raises another issue of having good terrain. So a while ago, I started getting into wargaming properly. And then I've kind of found that I was spending as much money on terrain as I was armies. And admittedly, I never heavily invested in terrain because it got to the point where I didn't want to spend. I'm kind of on a budget as it is when it comes to wargaming. I haven't got oodles amount of money that I can just pump into it for the fun. I kind of try select what I want. That's why I tend to just do armies and collect armies. Like I say, I war game when I can, but I enjoy the collecting army side of it. So what money I do have, I'd rather buy another army, start a new army, than just pump in terrain. So I think I was lucky enough, and I'm sure a lot of people are the same. They go to games clubs or wargaming clubs. I'm lucky I've got one up the road, and they've got such good terrain. So now it's kind of, I started building terrain from my house. Now I've joined a war games club. I'm kind of like, well, I've taken the opinion I'm never going to war game at my house. I'll just go to a war games club, so I can just use all their terrain. So I threw away loads of my half-built terrain. I had loads of ideas and stuff with terrain. I just binned. But then it kind of put me in a position now where I want to do some solo wargaming at home, because I'm not going to a war games club, obviously, because of quarantine. So I'm kind of having to try assemble what sort of table I can, and again I want to have a nice looking table, so yeah, I'm kind of trying to throw something together, and it's a bit of a pain, but yeah, I thought I'd just kind of chat about that. So luckily I kind of, ages ago when I was buying loads of terrain, I bought a load of these wall sets from Warlord Games, just a box of walls, and it's all kind of like modular. You can clip it together and stuff. So I had one box of them, which just got chucked in the loft when I gave up on wargaming at home. So I brought that back down so I can use those walls, and I'm currently doing a battle report, which I've used those walls. So yeah, and then there's something I've kind of tried to make some roads. So I had like a textured plastic wall section. It's from like a wall game modelling shop, and I've just put it on some like wood. I mean, again, it's not very good. I'm not brilliant at painting terrain, nor do I want to spend massive amount of time on it. So I've just primed this. I'm just going to hit it with a dirt and then wash the grey and just maybe dry brush it, and then hopefully that'll be good enough just to represent a road. I've done another piece, and then a big long piece. I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not super enthusiastic about terrain, so it's hard for me to get it looking nice. I'm doing like a tiny little pond, so I just cut a bit of wood out and layered it up slightly. I'm going to fill that with just a very thin coat of PVA. Again, I haven't got the stuff to do terrain, nor do I want to buy it, so I'm not going to put a resin down or anything. I'm just going to put a thin layer of PVA and paint the base like a bluey colour, just to try to represent the water. So yeah, that's kind of like, that's just sort of stuff that's just going to go on the table and just make it look nice. I I thought about making some buildings, but that's going to be massive, and it's not something I want to do. So ages ago, again, when I was looking at doing terrain, I made these kind of some woods, which it was meant to be from a World War II, like the Ardennes sort of thing. But I mean, I gave up on them. I only made 2. There's the third base that I was in the middle of doing, and I just gave up because I didn't like it. So yeah, that's these. So I've been using these 2 little bits of wood just as again, something on the table. A while ago as well, I bought some hedgerows. Someone made them for me, which I bought. I think it was like 20 of them or 24 of them for 20 quid. But I must admit, I wouldn't have paid money for them if I saw them before I bought them, because it's something I could have very easily done myself, a lot cheaper. So over half of the hedges and stuff I ended up throwing away. So I've only got like 10, I think. But anyway, they're like the nicer ones I kept, and they are handy just to have down. So I've got like walls, hedgerows, some woods, and like I said, I'm going to work on some roads. I won't waffle on anymore. Yeah, I was going to try use this to make some like a log pile or something, but I don't know. Again, just some scatter terrain. So yeah, I think that's the kind of main thing about what I don't like about wargaming, is if you haven't got a local wargames club, you're going to have to potentially, if you're like me, invest quite a lot in terrain, and unless it's really generic terrain, you're then kind of stuck in certain periods. So I've bought a load of Normandy houses for World War II, Normandy, but again, I can only really use them for Normandy World War II. Maybe World War One as well. I don't know. Probably not. So I'm stuck in that sort of getting certain eras of wargaming, getting expensive terrain if I'm trying to purchase specific terrain for it. I know it probably doesn't apply to everyone, because maybe some people like pumping money into terrain. Me personally, I'd rather just put it into another army or expand an army. So that's why my most, like, I don't say most hated thing about wargaming, but yeah, I think that's up there, is just terrain, having to pay money for terrain when I don't want to. And it might be weird, but that's what I've gone with. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, keep an eye out for any videos to do in the future. Cheers guys.